What's going on, everybody? So today I want to talk about the top 5 biggest season 28 mistakes that I see people either, maybe they're confused and they don't know what to do, or maybe they're focusing differently, etc., etc. There's all sorts of different reasons why these things could happen. But I basically want to give you guys a couple things to keep in mind in the back of your head if you're struggling to progress, or maybe you can't reach that T16 that you want to, or maybe you're struggling. We're fresh on day 2, guys. I went to bed last night, and now we're here back to grind out day 2. Before then, I wanted to record a video for you all. So let's get into the top 5 biggest season 28 mistakes. First off here is not going for the season journey. This is something that I've seen a lot of people not realize how powerful this is. A lot of people say, how do I get my first set? What do I do? How do I get stronger after I get to level 70? They've mastered the 1 to 70 process. It's pretty easy, right? You get to level 18, you get your diamond, boom. You get that diamond, you get no level requirement, boom, you're done. Basically, you just farm. So most people have gotten that on lockdown. Great. What's next? Get your set piece. The key to this is chapter 2 is going to get 2 pieces. Chapter 3 is going to give you another 2 pieces. And then chapter 4 is going to give you the final 2 pieces of your set. Every single class set is very, very good. The Demon Hunters is particularly great, but you don't need to be a Demon Hunter. You just want to get the set in general. Now, there's a few things here to keep in mind. Chapter 4 is actually decently difficult. If you're starting out and you're a casual player, you don't know what to do, this can be tough sometimes. You need to beat Torment 4 Key Wardens and Torment 4 Boss, Sidea, and you have to do Greater Rift Soul 20, which is, if we go check the obelisk here, it's going to be around a Greater Rift or a Torment 4, a little bit higher than a Torment 4 Greater Rift. You can see here behind me, that's GR20. You have to solo that in order to beat Chapter 4. But don't focus on Chapter 4 right off the bat. This is another kind of mini mistake within this own mistake. Just go for Chapter 2 first, get your first 2 pieces. That's going to be an upgrade already. Which, again, Chapter 2, just beat hard difficulty bosses level 60. You can literally just do this while leveling, which is actually what I did. It'll be a little bit easier. Chapter 3, you can also do this. Again, master difficulty bosses, easy. All 5 act bounties, easy. These are things that just take some time, and you can do these relatively easily. Chapter 4 is when it gets a little bit more difficult, but by the time you get to Chapter 4, you're going to have a 4-piece set, which will hopefully get you to that point where you can do Chapter 4, which is exactly what happened with my season journey. So make sure you're kind of going for that if you're struggling to get your first kind of bump up in the game. The second kind of tip or mistake is that kind of combos with the first one, is that don't be specific. The season journey has a lot of sets that people have never used before. For example, Gears of Dreadlands is not something that a lot of people used last season. People were focused on the Shadow Mantle, Strafe Impale, Strafe Multi-Shot, UE sets, things like that. And they didn't, or maybe even Marauder set, but they didn't really go for Gears of Dreadlands because the farming build wasn't as good that season because there's other options. Don't be specific. Don't enter the game and say, I'm going to run a Strafe Impale build, or I'm going to run a Gears of Dreadlands build, or I'm going to run, etc. Of course, in this case, it's a little different because Gears of Dreadlands is in the season journey. If your set is in the season journey, then you can just focus on that. But if your set's not in the season journey, use your season journey, get whatever set you can, and use that to build out your farming build, and then use that to build out whatever build you want. Let's say I wanted to run in a UE multi-shot build. Well, if I had just focused on getting my UE multi-shot, I'd still be farming, T1, and I would be nowhere, right? Because I've only gotten 2 pieces of UE, which would give me, the first 2 set piece, but guess what? That basically does nothing for me because I really need the 6-piece bonus for UE to do some major damage. So this is a big bottleneck for a lot of people. They are too specific and they just want to get their set. But if you focus on just getting stronger and then using that strength to farm your set, you're going to have more fun in the long run generally because you're not going to be stuck and you're not going to be like, oh, I just want to play with my build and I can't get anywhere. The third mistake is not using your follower to the fullest potential. Now, I don't even have my follower fully built out. I use the Enchantress a lot just because she has the cheat death here, which is super valuable for those of you that are on hardcore. And she actually has a lot of damage boosting abilities. For example, 5.31% extra damage, static elemental damage based on her intelligence, a little bit of a field that's going to increase your damage. But not only that, but you also have a lot of emanate skills, right? Move myself over a little bit here. Actually, let me just pull myself back, flip myself around. Look at that. It's professional streaming here, professional video making. A lot of the emanate abilities here are super valuable on the follower. And I want to do a full guide on how to build out your follower, some things to keep in mind. But for example, if you're not benefiting from your follower, you're going to miss out on a lot of things. For example, here for the Sages set, if you have a 3-piece set, it doubles the death breaths that you drop, which emanates, which means that it applies to you even though it's on your follower. If you have Nemesis bracers on your follower, that's going to apply to you. If you have things like, potentially running, again, all the different emanate abilities on your follower, you're going to get so many different bonuses. Sage's set is actually a really important one early on because you might be running short on Death's Breath if you guys are not farming a ton, which again, this is casual player, might not be farming a ton. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're using your follower all the time. The next tip is kind of a combo between 4 and 5 tips. It's going to be focusing the altar and planning around your altar. What do I mean by this? Well, let's talk about focusing the altar first. In the altar, actually, let me just pull up here the D3 planner. Those of you that have not seen this, I usually drop this in a lot of my videos, but right here we have the kind of specific upgrades that you need, or rather costs that you need to upgrade. For example, here on number 5, we need 10 of each bounty map. This is very, very important. This means that you want to prioritize progressing your altar over all else. Specifically, getting your progress orbs is going to be massive. Now, a lot of other things are massive as well. Permanent XP pools is really, really good. The Kadal legendaries is also really, really good. And of course, the specific pylon bonuses or the primordial ashes bonuses, all are very, very good. But you want to keep these in the back of your head, and you want to double up on things at every chance you get. For example, the season journey requires you to beat the key wardens on Torment 4. Guess what? If you do that, you get your infernal machines. And guess what? You can use those infernal machines to get your uber boss kills, which helps you with number 6 on the Altar of Rites. While you're doing bounties and you're clearing your season journey, you're going to get your 10 of each bounty map. And you're going to get your Reaper's Wraps. Hopefully, if you guys are doing on Torment 1 and you have your cache, you should actually already have this, right? My cache bugged out a little bit, so I have to go back and farm some mats because I didn't get my cache this season. Side note, guys. But your Reaper's Wraps, doing a Malthael bounty, while doing that, you're going to get that recipe. You'll be able to craft your Reaper's Wraps. There's so many different options. Make sure you're focusing this. And the second tip all around the altar, the tip number 5, is plan around your altar. For example, here, if I pop back over in game, you'll notice that my next level is level 5 because I need to go ahead and get 10 of each bounty map. Now because I was mad, I decided to go ahead and dump a bunch of hours in to get a Ring of Royal Grandeur because I just wanted it. It took me about 2 hours. Okay, it took me about 2 hours. I wasn't like super focused on it, kind of doing some other stuff. But anyways, I ran like 20 Act 1 bounties. That's what I did. I had to run like 20 Act 1 bounties, and I finally got it. Okay, it was pretty unlucky. Okay, but I finally got my ring, and that means I finally have my set kind of bonuses, right? But if instead what I did is I went for Act 2 bounties, Act 3 bounties, and then Act 5 bounties, and then used that material to go ahead and progress towards the double bounty caches, I actually would have saved some time. Now, granted, if I wasn't super unlucky, I wouldn't have saved that much time, but I would have been more efficient in the long term. So just plan around your altar, guys. Make sure you know what you're getting into. I will leave a link to the D3 planner down below. If you guys have not seen this before, this is a super, super useful tool. It helps you kind of, okay, I want to go down this, and you can kind of click the nose, and the orange is what you need to do next. And that allows you to kind of track it as you go along, which is super, super helpful. So that's gonna be the top 5 biggest mistakes that I've seen some people do in Season 28. Some of them are not specific towards Season 28, like the season journey, the don't be specific, using your follower, and then of course the altar is a Season 28 specific thing. But hopefully this helps. I know I've seen a lot of people diving into the game. This is one of the biggest seasons since the start of Diablo 3, and I wanted to give you guys some advice when starting out if you guys are still struggling. More videos to come. Sub to the channel, guys. Like this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.